Well, hello there, and welcome back to the Football Overseas YouTube channel, and welcome to game week 15 of the Championship predictions. Going into another international break after this weekend, so this is the third game for all the teams in the last 8 days, or will have been 8 days by the time we get to the weekend. So, there we are. I thought game week 14 was fairly routine, in as much that the results sort of went according to plan in most cases, I think. I suppose the eye-opener was Birmingham City winning back-to-back home wins at 4-0 as well, beating Portsmouth at the weekend 4-0, following that up, which is always important to do when you've had a decent result like that, and perhaps you haven't quite had the start you wanted. But they have backed it up with another 4-0 win over Millwall, who we know were flying high. So we'll see how Millwall react to that. As we know, already this season, Millwall have reacted pretty well after a setback. So will they do that this coming weekend? We shall see. Who are they playing? We'll find out. So a full programme on Friday night we start, and all the rest of the games are on Saturday. So just a quick recap from the midweek games then. Coventry got back to winning ways, seeing off, not without a little bit of a scare though, seeing off Sheffield United by 3-1. 1-0 down in the first half, but they got all that back and got the 3 points as probably expected. As I say, most of the games you couldn't argue with the result. You could have come up with the result this midweek. Not very often we can say that in this league. And at the bottom we've still got Sheffield Wednesday. They picked up a point against Norwich, who were immediately above them. Or they were immediately above them, but Norwich just still in the bottom three. Oxford having a little setback as well. Portsmouth not scoring again, the lowest scores in the league. So that's the bottom five, and everybody else shuffling around in the middle as always. So, what have we got in store this weekend? We start Friday night. We start at Watford, who are playing Bristol City. Now, Watford had a decent draw at Ipswich, as I say. That was a result you could have easily come up with. And Bristol City lost 1-0 at home to Blackburn. Now, they're starting to worry me as a fan. That's their third home defeat against teams that if you're going to have any real ambition to get into the playoffs and feel you're part of it, you can't be losing to Blackburn, Oxford and QPR at home. No disrespect to those clubs, of course, but I'm just saying, if you've got to get a crack on at the top of the table, you've got to start beating those sides that are mid-table or below when you play them. So that was a disappointment for me, losing to Blackburn. Not a surprise though. I had it down as a draw. Blackburn just picking up their form in recent games, so it wasn't a surprise at all. I say there were not really any surprises this round. This round just gone. So what do I think about Watford and Bristol City? I think Bristol City are going to do the complete opposite to what they did in the last. Between the last two international breaks, that was 3 wins. I think they're going to go down again on Friday night, and it will be their third loss in this 3-game period. Not the sort of backup they wanted from after that excellent match run they had. But a lot of injuries. Bristol City had to go down to 10 men on Tuesday because of they had used all their injury substitution windows and still had injured players coming off the pitch. So it was all a bit unfortunate. But I think Watford will take the points here to start us off at the weekend. Watford 2, Bristol City 1. On we go to the Saturday games then. As I say, all the other 11 are on Saturday. 3 12:30 games as always. First of those listed is Blackburn against Derby. Now, Derby County, 4 wins on the trot. Hats off to them for really getting going now and pulling it round. A decent 2-1 win as well over Hull had also been going well, as we know. And Blackburn, well, fresh off these wins now. I'm going to take them to nick this one against Derby and halt the Derby surge. Sorry, Derby fans. I think that's. I just fancy Blackburn have got a bit between their teeth. So a lunchtime kick-off. Blackburn Rovers 2, Derby County 0. There we go. Now, the next one listed, another 12:30, of course, Hull City versus Portsmouth. As I said in the little start I did just now, Portsmouth are the lowest scorers in the league, and their home form is a bit of a concern, but not as much as they can't score goals at the moment. They had a good, I watched the game, or a good part of the game, midweek against Wrexham, who they drew with, and they did play pretty well, to be fair. Created chances, goalkeepers making saves at both ends. Wrexham had their chances too, but not as many as Portsmouth. Portsmouth did put on a fairly dominant home performance, but came away with only 1 point. Hull City, as I say, went down, so I think they'll be looking to get back on track straight away. I think they will. I think Portsmouth's fragility is showing through at the moment. They've got to be very careful. I'm going to say Hull City 2, Portsmouth 1. Now, Millwall against Preston North End, and if William is watching, well, I'm listening, of course, who comments on now and again on these clips, welcome to you. And Preston did what we both thought they would do. We thought they'd win their midweek game. You probably won't agree with me on this one, though. I think Millwall are going to get something out of this match. As I say, they usually show a bit of resilience after a bit of a setback, and 4-0 is more than a bit of a setback, I guess. But I think this will be a one-each draw. Preston will probably not be too unhappy with that. They want to keep their winning run going, and they're in 4th place. So they are really the dark horses at the moment, coming and sticking with it too. Pretty consistent. But I'm going to go Millwall 1, Preston North End 1. Now, just today, yes, on the managerial stakes, because I'm coming up to Middlesbrough and Birmingham City is the next match listed, the first of the 3 o'clocks. Middlesbrough, I saw a flash this afternoon that although I said in the clip for game week 14 that Middlesbrough fans can relax, that's all turned around the other way. Wolves have now formally asked Middlesbrough to speak to Rob Edwards. Gary O'Neill turned them down. He was looking likely, but then he's pulled out, apparently. And it's now left the door open for Rob Edwards to go and talk to Wolves if Middlesbrough allow, because he's contracted to Middlesbrough. So if they allow him to speak and he goes, there'll be a compensation package, I am sure. So Middlesbrough, a little bit of not turmoil. That's not the right word. How can it be turmoil when you're 3rd in the league? What a silly word that was. But they've got a few little things rumbling away in the background, haven't they? And they've just had a few bumps in the ride, bumps in the sort of road lately. 2 wins in the last 6, a couple of draws and a loss in the last 3. So I haven't won in this window yet either, in this period between these 2 international breaks. I think they might steal themselves. Birmingham City, as I say, showing up really well in the last 2 matches, 2 4-0s at home. But I think Middlesbrough will just want to show their mettle still. Middlesbrough 1, Birmingham 0, just to nick it. Norwich City against Leicester. Leicester struggling a little bit, more than a little bit, in 13th place, but not really getting into their stride. They were one of my teams. Well, they could still get up there and sort it all out, couldn't they? But they were my team to win the league at the start of the season. So, and they go down to Norwich. Now, is this the game that Leicester need to kickstart them? Get 3 points on the board against Norwich, who've yet to get a point at home. Here we are with the Christmas decorations starting to go up, and Norwich still haven't got a point at home. Quite incredible, really, that anybody would be in that situation. But Norwich are. Played 6, lost 6, and this is number 7. Is it going to be lucky 7 for them? I don't think so. I just think at the moment it's very deep rooted there, the issues at Norwich. It's not just Liam Manning, as I've said a few times. But I think Leicester will just rack up and perhaps play on that a little bit. They know if they can get it doesn't take much to turn the crowd, any crowd, when your team is on this losing streak. Or I know they got a point at Sheffield Wednesday, but they are in a bit of a pickle. So I'm going to say Norwich City 1, Leicester City 2. Sheffield United against Queen's Park Rangers. It's all going a little bit not as planned. 4 losses out of 6 now for Chris Wilder. And he could, like Bristol City, are on the verge potentially of a 3-loss package in this little game window we have. Sheffield United against Queen's Park Rangers. I just don't quite know what they're up to personally at the moment. 1 minute they're looking like raw millionaires and playing millionaire football, and now they've lost 3 on the trot. I think it'll all even out here though. There might be a few goals around, I think. So I'm going to go Sheffield United 2, Queen's Park Rangers 2. Queen's Park Rangers, of course, losing at home to Southampton. So Southampton winning their first match after parting company with Will Still. So, as we know, that often happens. But it's probably a good match to go to find Queen's Park Rangers in a little bit of flux at the moment. I'm not quite sure what where they're going with their football at the moment. But I think it'll be Sheffield United 2, Queen's Park Rangers 2, as I say. Now, can Southampton back up their 2-1 win at Queen's Park Rangers, I just mentioned? And they're playing Sheffield Wednesday, who are now just happy to be having fans in their ground and everything. All right, they've gone into administration. We all know their plight, but it's not as grim as it could be. And the fans are very happy at the moment just to have their club to go and support, home or away. They'll be buying their tickets. So plenty of tickets available down at Southampton. I'm sure whatever allocation you get as an away team, they will get them. But I think Southampton might just back up. It's a chance, isn't it, for them to think, right, okay, we've got to kick on here. There's a chance to beat the bottom side, sorry. And I think they will. But just Southampton 2, Sheffield Wednesday 1. Stoke City against Coventry City. Wow, this is probably the game of the day. The top two, as it is now, Stoke have really shown some great form in very recent times. 3 wins on the trot. Backed up their 5-1 home win against Bristol City with a very good professional 3-0 win down at Oxford. They'd be very pleased with that, because it's always the next match, isn't it, when you have a really good win to show you it was really meant something. This is going to be a cracking game, I think. It's a shame it's not one of the live games. It isn't. But we've got, I think it'll be goals aplenty at both ends. I'm going to take them to slug out a 2 each draw. Stoke City 2, Coventry City 2. Now here's an interesting game. Swansea City against Ipswich. Very difficult to suggest what might happen here, as they all are really, he says in his defence. But Swansea against Ipswich. Ipswich, again, just ticking along, but not really showing any consistency, or any winning consistency anyway. As I say, they dropped points against Watford in midweek. Watford just showing a little bit, as I say. Swansea went down to Preston, so William would be happy with that. As I say, Preston on fire in 4th place. So what will Swansea and Ipswich serve up? I think Ipswich will go down there and get the points, but it's just really a coin in the air. But I think I'm going to take quite a convincing win for Ipswich. I don't know why I've got that feeling. I'm going to go Swansea City 1, Ipswich Town at 3. That leaves us with 2 matches to go. First of those now, West Bromwich Albion. I was looking down at as I say, when I was checking the reports with the lowest scorers, and also West Bromwich Albion have only scored 12 goals, which is unusual for them, and they're finding themselves down in 15th place, haven't really got going at all. So it is Oxford, who are 3rd bottom at the moment. 4th bottom, sorry Oxford fans, 4th bottom at the moment. And they had a miserable, as I say, 3-0 home win to Stoke. Will they fare better at West Bromwich? I'm not so sure. And I'm going to take West Bromwich Albion to take the points here, and find a scoring brutal 2 anyway. West Bromwich Albion 2, Oxford 0. Finally, Charlton Athletic. I haven't mentioned them, and I should have done really at the start. Had a wonderful 1-0 win. And say wonderful. I can have a well, you may think, what's he on about? A wonderful 1-0 win. But when you score in the 90 plus 6th minute, that is wonderful. It's a wonderful feeling. We've all been there with our teams. When you score at the last minute, you know there's absolutely no way the opposition can come back. And it's just the best feeling, one of the best winning feelings you can have when you get over the line like that. So Charlton did that against West Bromwich Albion. Absolutely euphoric they were doing that, beating, as I say, a very well accomplished West Brom side in general terms. And they go to Wrexham. Now Wrexham stood tall, or stood up to the Fratton Park, what they can throw at you on a night game or any game really down there. And they've just shown a little bit of improving form as well, Wrexham. Still 14th. But if they can just get a run together, and I think they might take this one, just to follow up their just recent improvement. So I'm going to say, well, that would be a tricky one. I'm going to give Wrexham a few goals. I'm going to say Wrexham 3, Charlton 1. I think Charlton will go there and give it a go, but I think Wrexham just showing signs of some real, some good form. So there we have it. What is going to happen this week? Will it be as not quiet as it was in the week, but it was just routine, wasn't it? As I say, Birmingham the highlight, with their 4-0 win. We shall see what happens this week. It takes us into the international break. So enjoy your footballing weekend that's ahead of us. Enjoy the international break. I know none of us really like the disruption to the domestic season, but it's got to have it. Got to get these games played at international level somehow. So we will all be back and looking at the ups and downs of what happens this weekend, and also looking forward then into the real meaty time, isn't it? Middle of November, or it'll be the 21st by then, or something, whatever it will be, for the matches. So then we go into Christmas and all of that back-to-back stuff that we get and we all enjoy. So have a great time. Enjoy your weekends. Please like and subscribe to the channel, as some of you have been doing. Thank you so much for that. It does go a long way to helping the guys that run this channel. And it's more appreciated than you can probably think. So please get and do that. I won't waffle on anymore. Thank you so much for listening once again this week. And I will see you again in 2 weeks' time. Stay safe, stay healthy. Bye-bye.